Remember way back in April 2019 when we got that snazzy Bond 25 reveal in Jamaica? They were just getting ready to start shooting. We met the cast. We only got that short, vague plot synopsis. Fans were allowed to speculate endlessly about what the movie was going to be. Ah, good times. Well, the cat has escaped the sack, and No Time to Die is now out, and fans are getting to finally see it. No more theorizing for this anymore. No more predicting. The speculating is over. It's now just reactions.
I would give too much away. I can't tell you anything. I'm sorry.
I think I'm going to miss all the guessing we got to do for this movie. I'll always remember it fondly. Okay, so I saw No Time to Die and thought I'd share some spoiler-free thoughts about it to start with. There's a lot that goes on in this movie, so a longer, more detailed discussion will happen at some point. It has to. But for now, I'm going to try to keep things a bit more simple and hopefully short. So we get action in the movie. The action highlights. The DB5 chase is really cool. Unfortunately, we've seen so much of it from the trailers that have been hanging around for the past year that we could practically piece together the whole thing ourselves. But it's still fun. The whole scene is pretty well done and exciting. But I hope this is it for the DB5. I feel like a broken record with this feeling that they've pulled it out way too much with Craig. I really hope they just pack it away and stop using it in the films. At least for a very, very long time. I think it was with my Skyfall review that I felt it was already becoming overused and it was becoming a nostalgic crutch. It doesn't have to show up in every single Bond film. I really hope the next Bond actor never sits his ass down in a DB5. And for all the hype for the other vehicles that are in the film, they really aren't featured much or contribute to the action at all. I was jazzed to see Dalton's Vantage was back, but it's mainly used as only the vehicle to move Bond from A to B, and that was it. So it's mainly the DB5. The rest of the cars are kind of background. The other standout action scene is Cuba, with Ana de Armas. She's fun, she looks gorgeous, and it's really the one piece of glamour I felt in the entire film. It's strange. You think of James Bond with like classy casinos, ritzy hotels, elegant clothes, and all that stuff. There's really not much of that in this. And Ana de Armas, she provides all that the best out of everyone else in the movie. If I had to predict which character out of this movie will be well remembered and become a fan favorite, I would choose her. But so we got the DB5 chase, the Cuba scene, but those two action scenes, they're the highlights, and they come in the first half of the movie. And then nothing in the second half matches those. I mean, there's some gunplay down the road and a scene of Craig taking out a series of baddies, but there was nothing that left an impact on me like the stuff from the first half of the movie. There was also something that felt very routine about those sequences. Like there was no tension being built, or they weren't as suspenseful as they should have been or something. Okay, so Lashana Lynch. The heavily promoted Lashana Lynch is Nomi, being a 00 agent. Yep, she's there. And I was quite surprised, actually. She didn't trek into annoying Jinx territory, which I thought that's where this character was headed. And there's really nothing to crow about with her. I mean, I can't even think of a standout scene with her. I mean, there's nothing wrong with her at all. I was prepared for her being the new 007, and that was pretty much her character. Her and Bond don't like each other much at first. They do a little 007 measuring at each other. Then they start to respect each other. yeah, that's about it. In fact, I think they did a disservice to her character at a certain point, which I was kind of floored that they did that. I guess I can't go into it though. It's kind of spoilerish, I guess. Um, okay, we got the Scooby Gang. They're all back. Moneypenny, Tanner, Q. They don't intrude much in this as I felt they did in Spectre. They're there, but I didn't feel like they were trying to crowbar them into the story as much as they did in the last film. I mean, that's going to be one of the interesting things um, going forward, is to see if this supporting cast of mainstays is going to stay on in the series or if they'll just recast all the roles again for the next Bond actor. I mean, will they just stay the ensemble crew in Craig's Bond bubble, or are they going to just move forward? You know, like how they moved Judi Dench's M from Brosnan to Craig without any real explanation, but will they do that the same with a lot of these actors? That's going to be interesting to see. Let's see. Oh, Rami Malek. He was very good at the start. He gets a great introduction. He has a very good second scene that comes a little bit later. And then it kind of tapers off with him. It's weird. I mean, that's the thing with this movie, and I'm really trying to avoid spoiler territory. Although I'm guessing everyone knows what goes down at this point. I know I'm late to the party with this, but if there's even just one person watching this who hasn't seen the film or knows the secrets for the movie, then I'd like to be considerate enough not to just blurt it out to them. Yeah, I don't think it's right to just spout out spoilers for films, ruining people's enjoyment of a movie. I've heard people intentionally went out and tried to ruin the movie for folks, and that's just terrible. You don't do that to people. Doing it intentionally, too. I mean, that really says something about a person. What kind of respect for other people do they possess to do that? They can't be Bond fans. They can't be movie fans if you set out and do that to people. I mean, that's just rotten. But yeah, I did hear some folks got the movie spoiled for them, and I lucked out. I sort of went completely dark, stayed offline for the most part since the film premiered, and I didn't want to risk hearing anything about the film until I got to see it. Let's see, what else? I know I'm going all over the place here. Madeline and Bond. I didn't think these two clicked in Spectre. And since they decided to build on top of that with this movie, it's shaky ground to build on. And for that whole relationship to be the foundation of No Time to Die, misfire. I suppose if you can go along with their love story, then you might enjoy this movie more. And that emotion they're trying to wring out of them will affect you the way it's intended. But for me, I wasn't in the boat. I just wasn't in the boat. And a lot of the stuff played as soapy melodrama. It's funny. I talked to Jeroen, a Dutch Bond fan, and I don't think this is spoilerish, but there's a scene of Bond visiting Vesper's grave, and they cue her theme that we remember from Casino Royale. And Jeroen said that just in that one little moment, after all this time, now she's dead, he's alive, there was more of an emotional connection between these two characters than Bond has with Madeline in this entire film. And I completely agree. I'd also add Spectre into it too. Over the course of 2 films, there was less chemistry between Bond and his leading lady than the one he met back in 2006 in Casino Royale. And that creates a difficult hurdle for this story to get over in order to work. Madeline. Out of all the Bond girls in the history of the series, they could have brought back for a second time in a film, Léa Seydoux' Madeline would not have been on my list of candidates. Actually, if I start to think about it, other than the DB5 car chase, where, she's sitting in the passenger seat, I think I liked the parts of the movie where Madeline wasn't in it at all or wasn't involved. Yeah, I have to think about that. Okay, yeah. Yeah, Blofeld. You got Blofeld back. Christoph Waltz, he's in here. They take a detour to visit him. I don't really have anything to say about him. It was almost like he played the part Mr. White played in Spectre, his return. Yeah. Well, I can't go too into it, because I'm afraid to hit the spoiler territory, but... Blofeld was really no different than he was in Spectre, and this time around, there was no upgrade to his interpretation of Blofeld. It's like they just wanted to keep a continuity going from Spectre and brought him back, along with some other stuff. It wasn't very engaging the first time around, and with this attempt at exploring this stuff even deeper and trying to mine more out of it, they didn't improve anything on the Spectre baggage. I've said it before. I wished they left that all alone and tried to create a brand new story and characters from the ground up with this movie. But hey, we need to keep some continuity to create this illusion that all these Craig movies were building up to this one planned final chapter. Right. But even with all that, the first half of the movie is good. I was enjoying it. I was getting intrigued by the tantalizing hints of secrets and reveals that were brewing, waiting to see where it was going, what were they going to pull out of the hat. Then, that second half, and things shifted. If you've seen it, you probably know what I'm referring to, and, that gets into the spoiler stuff. Like when we saw in the trailer Blofeld telling Bond, when Madeline's secret gets out, it will be the death of you. I was sitting there watching this and thinking, what? Is that the secret? Did I miss something? That's it. I mean, it's the second half of the film that will be getting talked about a lot. Or maybe it's more like the third act. But I saw there's already a major conversation going on since the film premiered about it. I've been out of the loop with the reactions the film has been getting for the last week, but I am not at all surprised that last half has become a major talking point. I mean, the last half of No Time to Die, it's going to alienate a lot of folks. The ending practically overshadows all the good that came before it. For me, I didn't care for it. I didn't think it unfolded in any real interesting ways or had a satisfying conclusion. Like the way they promoted it for Craig's farewell adventure. I was asked if I was planning on going to see No Time to Die again. And I really don't feel compelled to at the moment. Another thing is the movie is really long. I mean, towards the middle, I felt it dragging. I mean, there's some humor in it, thanks mainly to Ana de Armas and Q, but it's a pretty long haul to get to a very unrewarding conclusion. I don't think this will have much rewatch value for me. There's some good scenes in it. A lot of it looks beautiful. It really looks cinematic. And, Craig is good in it. He has some really good moments. He has some funny quips. There's one kill he does, and I loved. I thought it was awesome. But I don't think this is the triumphant finale the Craig reconstruction needed. I hope to be talking with Dutch Bond fan, and we'll be poring over this in a much more thorough, detailed, spoiler-filled discussion at some point. I mean, if anything that comes out of this, the movie gives fans a lot to unpack and talk about from it. If general audiences are going to watch it, thinking it's an old-fashioned, big old fun Bond film, they better strap in. I think they'll be disappointed, and I think the majority of hardcore Bond fans aren't going to feel very gratified with this grand finale. I was very disappointed because I didn't see Bond shoot a combustible container. I was waiting for that. If there has been one main theme during his tenure, it's Craig shooting combustible containers. No, the movie doesn't deliver on that. That might be the movie's biggest sin in my mind. I don't think I missed it, if it did happen. I mean, I was looking for it. Anyway, it's not the standard Bond film that most people would expect to see. I guess maybe that's what they were gunning for, shake up expectations. But that's always a risk. I'm not sure general audiences are going to leave the theater feeling very happy with this one. After the showing I saw it at, I heard a lot of confused comments and kind of folks just quietly walking out. It's almost like the second half of the film and the direction they want to end Craig's Bond story with was like remember in Die Another Day, where Bond and Jinx hop on Gustav Graves' plane and they're fighting him and Miranda Frost, and then the plane comes close to the giant laser beam, and the thing starts breaking apart and shaking, and pieces of it start tearing off, and it starts falling from the sky and is going to crash. Yeah, remember that? I think they flew too close to the giant laser beam with No Time to Die. At some point I plan on having a much longer, more in-depth discussion with Jeroen, and we'll really break down our thoughts about everything in the movie. But my expectation had been middle of the road with No Time to Die. Out of Craig's 5 Bond films now, I had said I thought I wouldn't like No Time to Die as much as Casino Royale and Skyfall, but thought I would like it more than Quantum of Solace and Spectre. And at the moment, I think that's pretty much where it stands for me. When it finished, it didn't leave me feeling like standing up and giving it a rousing round of applause. Unfortunately, I was left sitting there, giving it a slight head shake and a shoulder shrug. Oh yeah, this one will be getting talked about a lot.